buddy Jim from Coleus. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy 4th of July. Great day yesterday. Opened up Jim's Coleus. Had my first farmers market sale, Bayhead Farmers Market. I did really great. I sold a lot of Coleus. I still have a lot more to go, but a really successful day yesterday. I have a $100 donation set up on my Instagram for USO. I'm up to $55 already. Again, a portion of all my sales I put towards the USO in this month. So doing really well. I'm going to do a quick video today on how to make a Coleus tree. If you're interested in making a real Coleus tree, you're gonna not want to miss this. This is really good. I have the perfect Coleus for making a Coleus tree, and I'm going to just show you. I have to include my Coleus because each week they just keep going and going, and that's just proper trimming, the beauty of nature, the rain, the heat, getting just the right amount of sun, and of course the Miracle-Gro fertilizer. So it's not real difficult. Try not to make it difficult. You know, we all have busy lives, so you put the time in that you can, but just make sure you water your plants, specifically your potted plants. Water them every day, and every few days when you get a chance, you're walking by your plant, you see a leaf that maybe is ripped or torn, or maybe you see some insects, trim those leaves, get those leaves out of there. Do a little every day, put a little effort into your plants, and they'll repay you. It's not difficult. You don't have to have a green thumb. You just have to love your plants and follow Jim's Coleus here. So okay, let's go in the greenhouse. Well, wait, before we go to the greenhouse, got to show you my plants. Got to show off the plants, and then we'll get into the greenhouse and I'll show you how to make a Coleus tree. And I have the perfect Coleus from last year. It's gonna make a perfect Coleus tree. Okay, so I have the umbrella down because we're expecting some thunderstorms later today. It's really hot today, in the upper 80s, but it's just, there's not much of a breeze coming in off the ocean, so it feels hotter. But look at this magnificent planter. This little bin, this actually years ago I just repurposed this. This was in one of my bathrooms, and it's a chalkboard pot, and I used to keep folded up, rolled up face cloths or little finger napkins, towels in my bathroom. And you know, after a year or two we removed it, and I saw it, I drilled some holes in the bottom and I repurposed it, and I made a little planter out of it. But look at this. It's all Coleus. All Coleus. Some beautiful Empire Kongs. There's sort of like a Jitters variation. There's some Kong Reds, Colossal Marble, and there's another Jitters there. And look at this, just beautiful. And I really see, perfect example, there's a leaf down at the bottom here. You know, I get to what I can. Just snip it with your finger, be careful, and that's it. Just take a look, make sure you don't have any bugs, check underneath your leaves and so forth, make sure you don't see holes or white spots and stuff. Check under your leaves, see if you see any bugs. Safer insect soap if you have insect problems, or you can, if it's a small planter and you don't want to use that, you can use rubbing alcohol. If you see any bugs or worms or mites, spider mites or little spider webs, wipe them off with the insect, with the isopropyl alcohol, the rubbing alcohol, mild alcohol. Rub it off, and you can mix up like a teaspoon of mild dish detergent soap in water, in like a gallon of water, and you could spray that. That's sort of like a natural insecticide, and it'll keep the bugs off. But no insect damage here. Really healthy. Yesterday I sold all my, it's funny, I mentioned that I don't sell my hanging baskets too well, but yesterday I had 6 hanging baskets. I sold 4 of them. They all went, so I have this one left over, and we'll sell this next week. And here's another repurposed, same thing. It's a little galvanized tin, and this I'm keeping. I don't sell these, and nor this one here. These are for my property. But here's a Scarlet Kong, beautiful Scarlet Kong, a Kong Red, sort of almost like a watermelon variation, and a Jitters variation. Perfect perfect, beautiful, full, healthy, and it's been on autopilot, watering, fertilizing, and just occasional trimming here and there. When I see it, I come out here and I just make sure it's watered. And especially these small pots, they can dry out real quick, so you make sure you water them every day. And again, if you think that they're taking a huge beating from the sun, just move them over to a nice shady spot. So what we'll do with this one here. Oh, this is heavy. Okay, we'll move it over here. This is actually where it's kept, and then in the afternoon it gets sun. In the late afternoon, when the sun's setting on the west, it gets a good shot of sun. So we're going to keep these here. But beautiful, just a beautiful decorative pot for your patio. So that's what I hope you get from my channel, is the little ideas and how to grow your coleus, make your own little pots, and you can make a ton of these pots. You get them at the dollar store, make a ton of them and just fill your yard up with them. And I'm going to show you how I do that too before we get to the Coleus tree. And it's just a wonderful thing, and it's a really inexpensive way to grow beautiful, colorful pots of beautiful, colorful plants for your yard. Little or no money, and it lasts for months or more, depending on where you live. Okay, all right, here we go. It's a nice little Terrania mix, jitters, and a Empire Kong. Those are Empire Kongs. We'll have to move this out of here. Sort of have its mind of its own. This I actually had at this farmer's market. I had a couple of bites on it. Here's my cactus that I had inside. I brought it outside, but this one here started to die. So, but again, I've had this for 20 years. It started out as one of those little Home Depot little cactuses you buy as a child. I think I bought it for my son when he was 2. And yeah, so it's about 15, 16 years old. And look at this. I just kept repotting it and fertilizing it. I read up on these, and look, it's a monster. But it succumbed. We moved it into an area that didn't have enough light, I think, and it just, this one we lost. But it's all right, we still have this one here. But you can see my planters doing really, really well. Again, I just kind of trim it around, just do a little artistic trimming here and there to make sure everybody gets a chance to show itself. Got some Defiance here, some of these Kong, these dark, not Kongs, I'm sorry, that they're a red, dark, some Scarlets, there's some Kong Reds or Empire Kongs. The Empire Kongs, how you can tell it's an Empire as opposed to a Kong Red. If you're familiar with the fishnets, the Empires have more of like a sort of a fishnetty, I want to say fishnetty, see how it's kind of like fishnetty crisscrossing with the red, and it's a little bit, not quite jet black. That's how you tell the difference between a Kong, an Empire Kong, and a Kong Red, which I'll show you, which is plain green, black in the center, and the pink in the center, and might have some white. So that's how you differ. And just a note, if you want huge, spectacular, showy coleus, get Kong, Empire Kongs. That's why when I do sell my seeds, when I list my seeds in the fall, that's Jim's Coleus on eBay. I have nothing listed now, but I include a lot of Kong, Empire Kong seeds because they're just fabulous, big, healthy. They're very, very hardy and showy, and the bigger the pot, the bigger the coleus. So Empire Kongs, just keep note of that. And of course the colossal marbles. Okay, there's a few more little, just threw a couple of different coleus colors. If you've been following along, you probably remember how little this thing was with the little Terrania. And this is a fabulous coleus. Had a couple of bites on this yesterday. I sold a lot of the larger pots yesterday, and I sold an awful lot of coleus yesterday. Had a great day. Still got some trimming going on here. And look at this, isn't this beautiful? Now I've been really actively trimming this jitters back here really starting to try to take over here, but we want to showcase this. I want to make sure, because this is beautiful. And here too, this Defiance, there's an electric lime and some inky fingers back here. I always move this around to make sure I'm not missing anything. But this jitters, you know, this is a showcase. This is on either side of my deck, and that's a fabulous Coleus. Oh, of course, we know this gigantic jitters. This is a monster, a monster. Dollar store pot. It was like $4, but it's a huge. This was an overwintered. This is that little overwintered Coleus that I had inside, and I potted this, I guess, in May, and it's just exploding. And this one here, I'm gonna move soon. I'm keeping this for myself. This is my this is to harvest my seeds. And again, Jim's Coleus on eBay. This would be a jitters, and these are the seeds. This would be the mother plant that I use to harvest my seeds, as I did last year. Again, I got some fishnets, and here's another little combo, empires and so forth. All right, there's a spectacular Defiance coming in. I need to trim this a little bit. I may cut a couple of stems here and reroot them, and root them and pot them. So I'll get a few smaller plants going on this one. But this is a beautiful, beautiful Defiance Coleus. This is actually one of the plants that I bought from Rosie Dawn. This is one of the plugs, and it just, they're excellent. They're an excellent wholesaler or an excellent seller of live Coleus plugs. All their plants turn out to be extremely healthy, and I have great luck with them. There's a Saturn. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at the size. It's only June. I mean, July tomorrow. Yes, it is July. But we have August, September, October to enjoy these, and it just, now, like I said, the fuse is lit. We have our inky fingers, jitters, colossal marble, and some reds in there, and there's a little that will be an Empire Kong back there too. Okay, so you can see things are thinning out a little bit. I sold a handful of the hangers, but you can see I sold a lot of the Terranias, some larger Terranias. So you can see, you know, if you're really following along, you can see I did pretty well yesterday. I hate to see these go, but that's the business. I grow these again, number one, to teach you. And please pass my channel along. I'm hoping to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm almost at 9,000, so it's going to be close, but you know, if I get there, if not, 2023. But here we go. Everything's growing real well. I did a little bit of trimming. But looking at the forecast for next week, and it looks like we're going to get some rain Thursday, Friday, the weekend. So I may get a rain out on my farmer's market, which is okay. I mean, I want to sell them, but this will give them some time for some of them that I just trimmed to fill in. But I have plenty ready to go. They're all ready to go. Terranias, I'm learning more and more about the Terranias this year. Really have to keep deadheading them and trimming off some of these leaves that get kind of, I may have, these are they're very delicate, so I may have over fertilized or maybe over watered. So this is how I learn every year. Next year I'll be even better, and this year I'm actually proud of how they came out, and people really enjoyed them, and I sold an awful lot of them yesterday. Some ones, those in the back, I did not bring to the sale yesterday. They're still I trimmed them, as you can see. We're letting them fill in, and now they'll be ready to go. And that's what I like to do. I can't bring everything at once. It's just too much. So everything's doing real well. I sold a lot of singles. A lot of singles for people to plant their own Coleus. So okay, everybody, so if you want to make a Coleus tree, the ideal thing to do, I like to do, is have a Coleus that's at least a year or two old. That way what happens is that when you overwinter a Coleus for a season or two, it develops into almost like a tree bark. It gets very, I don't know if that shows here. It feels and looks just like a tree bark, as opposed to the soft stem, which the soft stem is why they root so well, because when you put in there, it's sort of permeable, so you'll get roots out of them because it's a soft membrane. If I were to cut this stem and put it in water, it would not root. It may root in maybe some spots here where the leaves were, but in general it won't root like nearly as fast as the soft green. Now you can see I have some green coming in here, these here. What I'm going to do is cut, and you're going to cry, but we're going to cut this, and I'm going to root that. I'm cutting this, I'm going to root that. And what you do is, you have to have a Coleus that's at least a year or two old that has this bark, and then you just go down and you remove all of the growth that's coming in, and you keep removing it all around. So I'm not upset, I'm cutting these, but these are going to be new plants. That's the beauty of a Coleus. You can cut them and make all new plants. Here we go. So we have I have at least 4 Coleus that I'm going to root here. And I just keep going down. Here you go. You got some new root. Now make sure you get rid of anything that's dead. Make sure you remove it all from down here. Get rid of everything. Decide how far. It's your plant. Remember, if you're familiar with Bob Ross, I mentioned this in a few of my videos, there's no mistakes in nature. There's no mistakes in nature. So you do what you want. It's your plant. But this is really simply how you make a Coleus tree. Is you decide how far up you want it to go until it looks like a tree. It's really easy. It's not complicated. And you keep doing that. Watch it. It's gonna wanna keep sprouting. You don't have to wrap it with anything, and then you just kind of sculpt it. Oh, I have a seed stalk coming in, so we don't need that. I'm gonna remove that. So that is still, there's a tree there, so we'll decide what we're gonna do there. But we're gonna sculpt this, and this will be. Let's get rid of all this. Still got to get rid of some of this here. But this, and I still have a little more trimming to do. You want to get rid of all of the greenery on the bottom. And this is how you got yourself a Coleus tree. And again, I'm going to trim it around a little bit to sculpt it. And as it grows more up top, it'll eventually be like a Coleus tree. Once you get it to a certain height, you keep the bottom trimmed and you fill up the top, and you trim it, sculpt it, and keep trimming it along the top until you got a nice full top and the bark on the bottom, just like a tree. And that is how you make a Coleus tree. I hope you enjoyed that, and it's a lot of fun. But you know, if you have to wait till next year, you have to be patient, because you know, I mean, you can make one like this. You can do it with the soft. It's the same concept. Just keep trimming the new growth that comes in and keep it and let it grow up top, and that's, you can make your Coleus tree that way. I like to use the overwintered Coleus, the year or two old Coleus, because it develops the bark and it looks more like an authentic tree. This will just look like a leggy Coleus with all the top growth, but once you get everything trimmed and get it the way you want it, people are like, wow, that's a tree, look at that, because it has the bark. So that's the difference between doing that. But you can do that here with these and just overwinter it, and it'll take a year or two, but about a year of overwintering to develop that bark. All right, so happy July 4th to everybody, and don't forget our warriors who are sacrificing their lives, their health, their way of life, especially the paralyzed veterans or the veterans that come back terribly maimed and their whole lives are changed. So that's why I'm so thankful for what I have and the freedom that I have, and it's all because of them, the sacrifices. And it's also a part of my family. I had a terrible sacrifice including a family member of mine that's personal to me, so it hits home. Anyway, very hot in here in the greenhouse. I got the fan going. I'm gonna head to the pool and relax after a hard day yesterday. It was a long day, but again, a great turnout. The Bayhead Farmers Market. If you're a follower again and you're in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, you want to take a day trip up, Thursdays, every Thursday, 1 to 6 p.m., Bayhead, New Jersey. Come on by, stop by, love to meet you, buy a Coleus, support our troops, spend the day at the beach. It's beautiful here in New Jersey. So, all right, thanks for following, everybody. Pass my channel along. Let's get me to 10,000. All right, take care, everyone.